So I got a question for you. What do you do if you get swallowed by an elephant? You walk around till you're pooped. What's up, my peeps? Good afternoon to you, evening or morning, whatever it is in your neck of the world. I don't really have a set thing to talk about today, but delve into a little bit was being a Gen Xer. For those that don't know, I am a Gen Xer, if it wasn't obvious by my look, I guess. And as a Gen Xer, we kind of grew up fending for ourselves. The world wasn't really handed to us, and we just had to, you know, create the hustle, I guess is the best way to formulate that. So now, fast forward in life, and I am starting over. And the ways of Gen X are not really viable in today's world. We're kind of like outdated milk. We just toss to the side. We probably need to be poured out the sink, you know. Like with anything, there's still life in us yet. And that's where I've been struggling. And so I know this channel, really, I want it to be about photography a lot and my quest to chase being a photographer in today's society, where a lot of this channel I want based around my struggles and my triumphs with the problems that we have, such as our cell phones that have great cameras into them. So I just spoke with a photographer today that is almost giving up. He's a little younger than me, almost giving up because everybody does have a cell phone and they don't see a value in photography because we all have the ability to take pictures. And it is a struggle. I get that. It is something that, especially I think the Gen X generation is going to struggle with, because we really got to see this technology when it was very rudimentary all the way to the advancement now. And there's going to be some nostalgia about it. But like I said, I'm not going to delve into too much photography today because I really want to talk about being a Gen Xer and the struggles that go along with that. You know, we had to grow up very tough. We were not the generation where, you know, there was our parents looking over our shoulder at all times. We didn't have technology like these cell phones to where everything was captured on film. So a lot of us did some stuff that probably wasn't good. A lot of us didn't survive that, but then the ones that did have no way to prove that they jumped off a mountain or some of the other dumb stuff that we would have did. Rode our BMX bike over a bed of flames or something, you know. Nowadays, that's standard practice. We see that on YouTube and TikTok all day long. We see the stupidity that goes along with being a kid. But when we were kids, there was nobody to see that other than maybe our small group of friends, you know, the people we'd go play hide and seek with. So now, you know, if you look back, you know, kids back then were very independent. They were, you know, discovering the world on their own with their friends, and our parents were busy working, and then when they got home, plop in front of the TV on the couch, maybe eat a TV dinner and watch Jeopardy or something. And in my case, you know, my mom would come home and turn on the news and fall asleep on the couch, you know. So I had a lot of time to wander and a lot of time to discover who I was or was going to become. As a Gen Xer, we've seen technology from the beginning. Apple computers, for instance, they were brand new. You know, our school, when I was maybe, you know, third grade or something, you know, was one of the first schools in the area that had a computer room. You know, we would get together and play Oregon Trail, which is funny because that became a really big game, and I was from Oregon at the time, so I had no idea because there was no internet and the world was much larger than it is now. I had no idea there was a world outside of Oregon, you know. So anyway, we saw computers from rudimentary little Mac classics, little all-in-one units, to where they've advanced to this, which is also an all-in-one unit, but could actually do video editing and very complex stuff. We've seen the advancement from Polaroids. There's no film. Anyway, we've seen from this technology, which was supposed to kill photography, by the way. It did not. It actually killed itself at one point and then has made a resurgence with people that like nostalgia. From the Polaroid camera to the cell phone camera and everything in between, from my professional quality stuff like EOS R5 or Fujifilm X100V. Those advancements came a long ways for photography, but all in all, photography is still pretty rudimentary. And even if you are using this, the principles are the same. So as a Gen Xer, we've got to see all that conspire. And it's been a cool journey. Along that journey, very few people really made photography a career. People of my generation, pursued that as a profession because it was very specialized and it was actually pretty expensive to get your pictures done. So that's why your parents would have gone to Sears Portrait Studio or something of that matter and got just a pre-packaged deal, no real talent involved, pretty cookie cutter, and it was still expensive. I remember even back then my mom getting a package and it was a few $100s for just a handful of different poses and a package of printed pictures. It just wasn't affordable for a lot of people, and there was no digital, here's your digital files, do what you want with them. It was, you didn't even get the film back in most cases. You would literally just get the files that you purchased. And then, when digital happened along the way later, we saw lots of changes. People nowadays are going out and doing mini shoots for $30, which barely covers the gas to get to the said location, not counting the time and not counting the skills that it took to get those good pictures, because everybody does have a cell phone. And so photographers now, where it used to be very specialized in, you were either a cookie cutter person like a JCPenney's, or you were very standout. So those standout artists would make it look so much better. Nowadays, people are mimicking some pretty good photographers, and they're able to do it even with their cell phones. So it makes the challenge even harder. So going back to my buddy that messaged me earlier today, and he's just having a hard time getting clients because people are not wanting to pay very much money, if anything. What I told him, and I'll tell you, and this applies to more than just photography, it applies to lots of things in life, you have to stand out. So either do what you do exceptionally well, and people will see that and, have to have the best, or stand out that you're so different that you stand out. Not necessarily that you're better, that's all relative, but you stand out because you're different. If you try and chase everybody else in said career, whatever that career may be, and you try to mimic what everybody else is doing, you're just helping water it down and making less of a value of yourself. So to jump into my head on where my brain is at, I need to tell you my story a little bit. If you don't know, my name is Greg Byerly. I am a professional photographer now in the state of Florida, but by way of the Pacific Northwest, namely Oregon. I've done many careers throughout my life, and as a Gen Xer, I have decided that the former careers that I did have not helped me mentally and have caused me a lot of grief in my life. And so, me and my family decided to start all over. We moved to Florida and we're chasing my dream of doing photography full time. Now, I've done photography my whole life. It's not like I'm brand new to it. I'm an award winning artist. I'm internationally published. I have been recognized by many of my peers as being at least a valid photographer. So, giving up my former careers, we are here, we're in Florida, we're in paradise, but there's been some struggles. And I gotta tell you, it's very easy, especially at my age, to lose that vigor to pursue it. Now, when I was younger, I would chase the rabbit, if you will, until I caught it. And now, at my age now, the zeal that's in me, that drive that's in me, is slowing down. Now, I'm not gonna quit. That's one thing about being a Gen Xer, and again, this video is kind of circling around my generation, is we don't know how to quit because we've been in survival mode our whole life. You know, when you get up into your upper 40s through late 50s, and if you do something drastic like what I've done, make a large change in your life and uproot your family and start all over in whatever career you decide, it's not going to be easy. For one, if I want to go get a job somewhere at my age with my past, you know, I'm not trying to go back to my past careers. So those careers to what I want to do now aren't really valid. So if I wanted to go get a job for somebody else or through somebody else, it's very difficult because there is a thing called ageism. It's much like racism or any other ism out there. And people are prejudiced against your age because they think, and rightly so, they think that you're probably set in your ways, and we probably are in a lot of ways. So it's a lot easier to hire a 20-year-old kid to do the job than a 50-year-old. At 20, you have 30 years to groom them how you want. At 50, they're technically, close to retirement, or above 50, So it's hard to hire somebody like that. In my case, where I just want to run my own business, it's a little easier in one sense. You don't have somebody judging you for your age, but all your clients will essentially, because you are starting over, judge you off of your look, your age, your demeanor. And the Gen Xers out there are a different breed. It's not like the world that is going on around us currently. Most of us are kind of no nonsense, say it the way it is, and if you don't like it, go fuck yourself. And I don't want to necessarily drop the F-bomb all the time in my videos, but it is part of my culture. And the change that has happened in the world today doesn't understand where we came from. They didn't have the same hardships. And so there is an ageism where, for example, if I want to do modeling photography, which I do a lot of, in order for me to do it better than a 20-year-old kid or whatever, I have to really show up with proof positive that I'm the guy. I have to be better than all those other guys. And the reason why is because a lot of these young ladies are going to think that I'm some old creep or pervert, because they're not used to dealing with that no-nonsense type of guy. And a lot of people generally probably are creeps and perverts. That's in every generation. But there is something that happens where people assume when you're older that you are a certain sort of way. So that's an obstacle that I'm dealing with. Like, I meet a lot of young, very attractive people that would make great photos, and in order for me to get them as clients, I need to really show them what's up. And I would argue that everybody should do that, but you don't have to when you're younger because people know you're establishing yourself. When you get older, people assume that you're either established, and if you're just starting over again, you're nobody that they want to work with. And that's just the way it goes. As a Gen Xer, I have a lot of nostalgia in my brain about things. And I think that carries over as a photographer and makes me feel different than a lot of these other photographers. And it will make me stand out. And literally stand out from the rest. Don't follow the people that are, your view, a trailblazer, because they're of a different generation and a different level than you are. So if you just follow them, you're already way behind. So what you have to do is figure out a way to become a trailblazer. And there's no good way for me to advise you except for just do it. Try again, fake it till you make it. Whatever it is that is going to get you to have that vigor to go do it, then do it. And this counts for anything that you want to do. As even if you're not a Gen Xer, you're just somebody that are trying to find your way. That's fine. Go find your way. Don't get lost in thinking that you have to follow that awesome YouTuber. Don't fall into that where, oh, I have to have my Instagram look exactly like this, and this is the season where I change it to warm tones now because Peter McKinnon told me to, or I have to have my TikTok reels look a certain way. My YouTube has to look cinematic. None of that matters. You're chasing people that aren't ever going to look back at you. What you need to do, and what I need to do, is chase the people that want to chase us. And that's probably not the easiest thing to figure out. I'm trying to figure it out. This YouTube thing, even though I've technically seen it all unfold being a Gen Xer, I didn't follow any of the trends, and I don't plan on following any of the trends. I did in the beginning. When I first started this channel, I thought, well, man, Peter McKinnon is amazing. He's very engaging. He's got that appeal. And he's not a Gen Xer, he's a millennial. But now he's starting to age out to where, people are looking towards the next person. Instead of chasing the Peter McKinnons or the Casey Neistat's or the Mr. Beast or the PewDiePies or any of these other big YouTubers, I'm proposing just be yourself. And that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm not going to niche down on this channel. Yes, I will talk about photography a lot. I'm going to show you some of my work here that will show the gamut of interesting things that I've done recently. And you'll see that I've done everything from modeling stuff to wildlife, landscape, car shows, and event photography, just to name a few. I'm going to try and make my videos more interesting. I will throw some B-roll in there. I will try and have good music. That's one of the things is my generation would have been rock and roll. I like the tribute of the way I grew up. Now, I'm not going to be able to play Guns N' Roses in the background because of copyright stuff, but I'll probably throw in some good rock beats and that general vibe just to make my videos more me. I would really like to know what you guys are looking to learn about a Gen Xer. What's interesting about us? I would definitely like you guys to drop a comment and Let me know what you feel about photography. Is that something that you're interested in? Or do you want me to show you how to cook a good meal? Because I could do that as well. I guess the sky is endless, you know. The abilities to talk about my generation is kind of unlimited because, like I said, our generation had to figure it out. We didn't have YouTube instruction videos. We didn't have a lot of people to influence us to go in a certain direction. So it's interesting to now be on YouTube, and if you guys want to learn about anything, you can just type it in. Hey, I want to learn about mental health, which I'll be talking a lot about on this channel. Boom, Greg Byerly comes up and he's talking about his mental health state. And oh, I want to learn about guitars. Oh, well, Greg Byerly has a 1963 Telecaster amongst 50 other guitars, you know. You could just type that stuff into the computer and literally find out information on anything or anybody. So that's an interesting thing for me. It's interesting to now be on that side of things where I am able to talk about what influenced me to do different things. With photography, you know, my influence started with my mom. She was the first, and I've said that many times on this channel. And then throughout different pieces of my life, different photographers popped up. When I was in high school, I didn't even realize that photography was the thing that why I chose some of the decor in my house. But I had a friend that he came from a little bit more money than my family did, and he had Ansel Adams pictures on his walls, and then he decided he was going to change his decor. And so I inherited these badass black and white Ansel Adams photos. I still have one in my closet here that I've had ever since high school. And literally, you know, it was professionally framed and hung on my walls for many years. I liked that very simplistic look. And I didn't realize at the time, even though I knew who Ansel Adams was, I knew he was a famous photographer, I didn't realize I'd ever be chasing trying to take pictures like Ansel Adams. And I don't exactly take pictures like Ansel Adams, but he had an influence on me. My mom had an influence on me. Vogue magazine had an influence on me. Playboy magazine, you know, all these places that had very nice photos, whether it be, you know, more on the, you know, adult orientated side of things or the safe for work type of things. As I got older, I realized the influence that photography was having on my life, you know, right down to the decor in my house. And so we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about how paintings like Nagel spawned me taking photographs that looked like that, and how urban environments and street photography really spoke to me because I didn't come from a big city and I was intrigued by the big city. So street photography became a thing. Moving on, and when I was a tattoo artist, and I did that for 20 years, how photography was always on that back end, me getting in magazines. And so I had to take really good pictures of my work, and how getting interviewed and stuff like that and having photographers take pictures of me influenced me on my photos. And so we'll be talking about that on the channel. Like I said, we're going to do some talk on mental health because there's a lot of mental health issues surrounding my life, and I believe in today's society, especially younger people, are dealing with mental health in many different ways. I don't know if it's necessarily the best ways or not, but I do believe it's good to talk about it. So my generation did not talk about mental health. That was not a thing. You rub dirt on it and you go back to work. You know, like if your feelings were hurt, you just bury that deep down inside and you never bring it up again. That's not healthy, and I believe that it's probably good to at least acknowledge that we're not always okay. And that's okay. But if we're not okay, maybe we should talk about it. If not, attention, Not going to delve into that too much today, but I'm going to do a Mental Health Monday video, and that's going to post every Monday or every couple of Mondays. I don't know if I can do it every week. That might damage my mental health. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to be doing editing videos, so if you're specifically into photography and you want to get better at that, I'm going to try and help people with that. And then along that, I'm going to take you guys along to photo shoots and stuff as well. It's all about photography. It's going to dabble in everything I'm interested in. Sometimes it might just be me doing reviews on music and then showing some photos from different music videos that I've done. It may be about, it's going to have some crossover into other things that I'm interested in. And I hope that's okay with you guys, because I think it'd get really, really boring if I only talked about my interest and I didn't acknowledge that there's other things out there. And to be honest with you, I'm interested in a lot more than just photography. Obviously, if you look behind me, I have a lot of guitars. I'm interested in that. I'm interested in art. I'm interested in traveling. I'm interested in food. There's a lot of interest here. And with different careers and everything, I've dabbled in different things I'm interested in. And that's how I've come to the point where I just want to do photography. Now, the title of this video is Gen Xer Doomed? ? And am I doomed? And the question is unanswered in my head. I am a little nervous about my chosen path because I am a Gen Xer, and sometimes I feel like I'm out of my element and I'm out of date, really. I do find it hard with the chosen interest that I have to go get just a job doing that somewhere, because if I go get a job doing that for a local company here, it doesn't pay much more than minimum wage. So it's not something that at my age I'm going to feel like I've accomplished much. So that kind of leaves me into proving that I am the guy for everybody. I am the guy that you hire me to make look like the most interesting person in the world. And I could do that. I am the guy that's going to capture your family in those candid moments. I am the guy that is going to make you look like a model. I'm also the guy that's going to capture your event in just the right way. I'm the guy that is going to make your car look like out of this world. And how am I going to do that is with the drive that's instilled in me as a Gen Xer. I don't know how to quit. And I don't take kindly to people that doubt my abilities. So I have to prove myself to you, and I have to prove myself to me. And I would encourage you guys at whatever age you are to have that mentality, that never say die mentality. That's where I'm at. So am I doomed? I sure hope not. These cell phones definitely make it harder because the value of photography now has to be proven that much more. The ability to make these YouTube videos, anybody could do it. They could do it with their cell phones, and with some cheap editing software or even free, they could make a video way better than mine. Will they have the experience that I have? For you guys, maybe you're not Gen Xers and you don't have that experience. If you have the right attitude, that'll get you the experience. That never say die attitude is where you need to be. So that's all I got today. I'm going to edit this down. I'm going to add some B-roll over the top of a few things and stuff. Let me know. Drop me a line. Like and subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate that. But even more than that, make a comment and let me know what you would like me to make a video on. this channel is not going to be all, sunshine and roses. It's going to be real and raw. And I think that's what the world wants right now. I think that polished look is a thing of the past, and I started to chase that in the beginning, and it's just not what people want to see. I think people want to see the real Greg Byerly, and you'll notice that with the big YouTubers as well, is they are tapering back, and it's not so much in your face explosions and magic and sleight of hand and trickery with cinematography. It is now becoming a story. Tell me a story. Let me know something that I don't know. Give me some knowledge. Give me that feel good feeling that's real. Anyway, that's all I got. I hope you have a beautiful day, and we will catch you guys on the flip side. Hopefully I'll have a lot more videos coming out soon. I'm trying to be as consistent as possible, and the only way I could do that is with your help by subscribing, liking, watching the videos till the end. I appreciate it.